Hello, I'm Steven,
And I'm Aaron.
and we've just seen 28
28
Years
years later,
Later, The
The
Bone
Bone
Temple,
Temple.
a new film that's out in theaters right now, starring Ray Fiennes, Jack O'Connell, and Alfie Williams, and it is directed by Nia DaCosta. So, the previous film ended with Spike being picked up by Jimmy Crystal and his roving gang of killers called the Fingers. When we catch up to Spike at the start of this film, he is right back where he started, being forced to kill as a rite of passage. To be a Jimmy, or a Finger, he has to best another Finger in combat. Meanwhile, back at the ossuary, the pacifistic Dr. Kelsing may be on the verge of a breakthrough in rehabilitating Samson, an alpha infected he has befriended. I think we should make it a rule going forward that only Alex Garland should be allowed to write these movies because he's done it again.
Yeah, and we have that third one that's being greenlit now. So when all is said and done, we might have one of the best horror trilogies in a very long time, if ever.
And from what I understand, Danny Boyle's coming back to direct that one.
That's the idea. Although, given how this one turned out, if for whatever reason he decides not to come back, we have Nia DaCosta to do another one if she wants.
Yeah, this film is magnificently written by Alex Garland and likewise magnificently realized by Nia DaCosta. This is a worthy successor.
Yeah, I didn't like it as much as the last one, but that's for different reasons. But this is great. A lot of it comes down to the script, but just also the presentation. This is a decidedly different movie than the last one. It doesn't have that kind of low budget punk rock feel. It's not like shot on iPhone. This one's clearly a regular production, but it doesn't detract from the experience at all. It's a totally different beast.
No, not at all. I didn't even notice the incongruity between the films until after the movie was over and the credits rolled. I realized, oh yeah, this wasn't shot on an iPhone, and yet it still felt part of the same universe.
It's funny because the first one had a very kind of like do it yourself punk rock attitude the way it was shot and put together. I expected kind of like a even more of a jump headfirst into that style in this one given how the last one left off, but we didn't get that. This one focuses more on like character interaction, just kind of living in those moments, but it does like go full heavy metal, insane craziness by the third act, which I'm sure we'll talk about a little bit later.
Yeah, this is a great example of beauty and simplicity because if you were to like lay out all the plot points, there's not a whole lot that happens here, but
Yeah,
they make the most of every little thing that does happen.
it's
It's all about the characters.
that's the thing about this series that I'm glad that they remembered when they were making these movies is that that first one, it's not a zombie movie. It's a movie about people, and it's a movie about community and people coming together to face these like horrible obstacles in this world that they live in.
One of the dumbest criticisms I've ever heard levied towards the previous film, 28 Years Later, was that it wasn't as nihilistic as the first two. And it's like, bullshit. The first one, it was always about hope. It
Hmm.
was always about finding hope in the dark. Now, the second one is complete nihilistic horse shit. And that's
Yeah,
why it
yeah.
sucks.
Weeks later is what happens when you make a zombie movie in this franchise. You get schlock that's just action and all gas that doesn't have anything to say. The rest of these movies are all really interestingly written, and specifically these last two, it's about like community, it's about hope, it's about childhood and growing up, it's about religion and faith and education. Like there's a lot of stuff going on in these two scripts.
One of the most impressive things about this one is the way it ties all these plot threads together. The first movie ended with, like I said, Spike being picked up by these athletic, Jimmy Savile dressed, crazy chav gangsters. And then I was wondering, because he appears in the trailer, how in the hell are we going to tie Dr. Kelsing and the Jimmies together? How are these things going to connect? And they found a really brilliant way to tie them together in the
Yeah,
end.
I was wondering the same thing. It's like I know based on the marketing material that these stories converge somehow, and we end up going back to the Bone Temple as it's known in the title.
Yeah, the ossuary. I didn't even realize that the Bone Temple was going to refer to the ossuary. For some reason, that didn't occur to me. I thought they were just going to go to a new location.
Yeah, but the way they do it is the most brilliant thing. Like you follow these two storylines going on at the same time. The last movie was very much Spike's movie, and this one is now Dr. Kelson's, and It's so great to watch Ray Fiennes.
Yeah, I did not expect that. I did not expect he was going to be promoted to protagonist this time around, and I'm
Yeah,
glad he was.
it's nice to get kind of a protagonist shift each movie. I imagine they're probably going to do something similar in the next one. But yeah, everything they do with his character, like it's him and his, if you want to call it a relationship with Samson, the alpha's infected that we meet in the last one. Like there's this strange connection, bond, friendship between the two that is explored in this movie through Dr. Kelson and his abilities as a physician.
Yeah, without saying much, we get an insight into the psychology of the infected this time around, which is a great development.
Yeah, and again, it's the focus of these scripts on people. It's like you have to remember these are not mindless zombies that just kill and want to eat brains. They are people who are infected with a virus. The movie explores like whether or not there's still a humanity buried deep within these things. The way they explore that is like really really interesting.
And it gets really touching. I actually found myself
Yeah,
borderline misty eyed at some of these scenes between Dr. Kelsing and Samson.
yeah, you would never expect it, but, all and another thing that, helps is, the way this movie uses music.
Oh man, there's many a needle drop in this thing, and every one of them is wonderful.
They're great because they're not just needle drops for the sake of needle drops. They actually kind of provide a little bit of insight into the characters and their emotions and the way they're feeling. The way that the music is used in this movie is like really terrific. That being said, I was a little disappointed with the score this time around. It's by Hilda Goodnadotir, I think is her name. It doesn't touch the Young Fathers score from the last movie, but it really is more about the needle drops this time.
Yeah, which isn't a bad thing, but the sound was so crucial to the previous one.
Yeah, yeah, a huge deal.
Now, Spike, who was the protagonist of the previous one, has been mostly relegated to the side. It's mostly Dr. Kelsing and Jimmy Crystal, the leader of the Jimmies or the Fingers or whatever you want to call them. And the previous film had an ending that threw a lot of people off. A lot of people thought that was weird. It certainly turned into Power Rangers by way of Teletubbies. And a
Yeah.
lot of people were probably going into this one thinking, I'm not going to be able to take these characters seriously. It's going to be funny. It ain't funny.
No, no, these guys are, well, specifically Jimmy Crystal. This man is disturbed. He is sick. He is twisted in the head. And for a while, I don't know if you felt the same way, but for a little bit, I was kind of disappointed with the portrayal because I was like, okay, this is a little more one-dimensional than I was hoping for, because he's really just kind of going around committing horrific acts against people with no real rhyme or reason or motivation behind him. And then we get a scene later which kind of tells you everything you need to know about the character and what drives him and why he is the way he is. And I think it's a lot to do with the things I said about the last movie and where they came from. And this is a character who has had no proper education in the world. He was born in and experienced like horrific circumstances, especially like around a religious household. Those experiences have formed this person into who he is now.
And what he is ain't pretty. It was nice, I guess you could say, to go see a horror movie whose goal was to instill horror because there were sequences in this film involving the Fingers and their abhorrent acts of cruelty that really unnerved me because I get kind of tired of going to see like a shitty slasher movie where the point of watching people get maimed or killed is entertainment. It's for the lulz.
Yeah.
This film doesn't do that. This movie is designed to chill you, and it worked.
Yeah, the last one kind of was like a discovery of the world and the way it is now. This one was kind of exploring this cult and how they operate and what motivates them. You know, why they're doing certain things and who they're doing it for. Like all these acts that they commit, they think they're charities of some kind. And the way they talk about what they're going to do, there's like one specific sequence that I know everybody is talking about. Like I won't say what happens, but one of them
The
says,
Is it the removal of the shirt?
yeah, it's something that would sound so innocuous or tame. but for some reason, like in my head, I immediately knew what they were talking about.
Same.
And then when it happened, I was like, wow, I can't believe they're going this far with this. Like, and good for them. Like, and it doesn't, like you said, it doesn't come across as just torture porn like a lot of other movies.
Hostile.
Yeah. But yeah, the character of Jimmy, it really was that sequence later where he takes a moment to kind of he has an interaction with another character where you really get to understand what makes the character tick. And that was very important for me because for a little while I was like, okay, it's a cult movie. He's a crazy, wacky cult leader who says and does insane things, but why? Why is he doing this? Like, there's got to be something in there. And again, it's the movie's about people, and they remember to flesh everybody out.
I said at the end of our review of 28 Years Later that Killian Murphy was going to be all up in this bitch. I spoke too soon.
Yeah, there's more to the story. We have a third one that is being planned.
And I hope it gets made. I guess this thing did not get off to a grand start
No,
box office
it's
wise.
not doing too well as far as box office, but they've already said it's been greenlit and it's like going into pre-production. So
Let's do it.
I suppose they could always pull the plug, but I sincerely hope not because the reviews for this are pretty much universally very, very positive.
I think this actually has a higher rating than the previous one.
That doesn't surprise me because the last one, that ending did really like leave a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths. You could almost say that this one kind of overcompensates for it because the third act of this movie is one of the greatest things I've seen in a long time.
You and I both had just a big Cheshire cat's grin
Yeah,
across our faces throughout it.
it's impossible not to, not just because of what they're doing in the script and what the characters are doing, but the way it's executed is just so perfect.
Yeah, cinematography, music, and Ray Fiennes annihilating in his role. Give
Yeah,
this man his Oscar. He's had a magnificent career.
yeah. Well, it's also nice to see a movie in January that is not a piece of garbage. It's so weird that they dumped it in January, but man,
Great way to start out the year. So, what is your final number rating on a scale of 1 to 10?
I like this a lot. I didn't like it quite as much as the last one. I think the last one really affected me more because it was very heavy on the world building, and I love that stuff. I love being introduced to a world. I like understanding what the rules are. I love the community. I love the character journey. That one has a much bigger kind of emotional impact on me. But this one goes to places I could never have expected, like Kelson and Samson. Those two are like the centerpiece of this movie. And Samson, as crazy as it is to say, becomes one of the best characters in this franchise. It pretty much everything is hitting. So I'd give it like the strongest of nines.
Same, give it a 9 out of 10. At first, I was a little, somewhat, sort of, kind of disappointed that Spike wasn't as involved in the
Yeah.
plot, but it's really just the midway point of his journey. And to compensate for that, Ray Fiennes was ascended to the rank of protagonist, and I'm okay with that. That character gets a magnificent payoff, and this movie made me feel. It made me feel horrified at times, and it made me feel moved. So it runs the gamut of emotions. What more can you ask for? A really stellar follow up. I look forward to the third one. You are a treasure, Alex Garland, and 38 thumbs up to you, Nia DaCosta. I tip my hat to you. So that is 28 years later. The Bone Temple. Definitely, definitely go see it.